Barbie. Since the creation of the doll, she has been a controversial concept. The white, blonde, blue-eyed, extremely thin, and beautiful woman created for the girls to play from a really young age. But what was actually the purpose of the creation of this doll? Hello everyone, it's Zeynep. Today I bring you our analysis on the recent times much discussed movie, Barbie, by Greta Gerwig and surprisingly also Mattel, Barbie's founder company. Before Barbie, little girls used to play house and mimic being a mother for fun, because all the dolls in the market were babies designed to be nurtured. In 1959, this Barbie doll came up, and of course it was groundbreaking, because it was not a baby but rather a woman, an idol the girls could look up to. Her full name was Barbara Millicent Roberts, which was inspired by the daughter of the creator and the co-founder of Mattel, Ruth Handler. Later, Ken as her boyfriend, Mitch as her pregnant best friend, and Skipper as her little sister were brought to the markets, but not until the 1980s any Barbie of color entered the market. The doll, being created with unrealistic body standards, too stereotypical look, and too materialistic life, still presented an alternative path as a woman, providing for herself, and not depending on a man, contradicting that time's gender norms. She innovatively worked in a job, won Nobel Prizes, and didn't reinforce motherhood and nurturing. At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to Barbie Land and shown how a day of stereotypical Barbie goes. She wakes up, takes a shower, has breakfast, leaves her house by floating in the air, goes to the beach to say hi to everyone, attends a Nobel Prize ceremony, parties, and has a girls' night every night. We see Ken being in competition with every other Ken, trying to influence Barbie and get her to spend time with him because he exists only as her boyfriend. It all begins going downhill when she starts having thoughts about death and some things in her life go wrong, especially when her feet become flat. The interesting fact about Barbie is that her feet are on tiptoes at all times, even when she removes her high-heeled shoes. This actually is serving to an unrealistic standard too. It makes Barbie attractive at all times, as women are mostly found more attractive on tiptoes because of the posture it puts them in. She pays a visit to Weird Barbie to get to the bottom of this, who represents every girl who was emotionally troubled at some point that they reflected this on their doll, making her weird, hinting at the idea that the emotions of women are seen as weird in society. Barbie is told to go to the real world to see her owner because her emotional troubles in the real world is why Barbie's world is going weird. As she roller skates with Ken, Barbie sees men looking at her in a way that makes her uncomfortable and self-conscious. She becomes aware of her physical appearance and experiences looking at oneself with male gaze for the first time. Yet, we see Ken experience a completely opposite feeling in this world. He, for the first time, feels like he fits in and is accepted as himself. He becomes aware of patriarchy and adjusts quickly, as just being a man is enough for him to survive. While Barbie tries to find the connection to her owner girl, she sits at a bank, and the life of the girl passes in front of her eyes. It's such a good scene. We see tears falling down her eyes and Barbie experiencing emotions for the first time. She then looks to her right to see an old woman sitting next to her. Barbie tells her she is beautiful. Beauty is a concept of whole, involving not only the outside but also the inside, contrary to prettiness, which refers to only physical attributes. The studio executives suggested cutting out this scene, but Gerwig defended it was the heart of the movie, and she is so right. As Barbie is not raised to believe aging makes you ugly, she can see the beauty in aging, and this brings us all a different perspective. The connection between these two women actually prepares us for Barbie's connection with the creator, Ruth Handler. Later, Barbie meets the girl she thinks is her owner, Sasha. She expects admiration from her, yet sees an opposite reaction. While Barbie believes she actually made the real world a better place because her kind won Nobel Prizes, was intelligent, and had a woman-dominant world, Sasha crushes her by saying she damaged the feminist movement and made women feel bad about themselves all the time. Barbie is later brought to the Mattel building. Seeing all the executives are men, thinks it's paradoxical. Mattel wants to box her up and send her to Barbie Land, where she can just exist as the figment of an imagination again. But she then decides to escape, and Sasha's mom, Gloria, who works in the building too, helps Barbie flee. We later discover Barbie was Gloria's Barbie, and because of her troubled feelings, Barbie too was experiencing problems. The reflection of Gloria's feelings on Barbie's mood actually resembles the dynamic between Sasha and Gloria. Sasha has been growing distant from her mother and getting angry at her all the time, and we see the same thing when Barbie gets angry at Gloria for making her depressed with her thoughts of death. In Ece's opinion, this dynamic is put in the movie with the intention of showing the viewer how mothers affect their daughters, which is explicitly stated in the movie through the end. However, as Barbie gets angry at Gloria, Sasha, who was angry at her mother the whole time, gets defensive of her mom as she understands that Gloria is also a human with the right to have flaws. Barbie brings Gloria and Sasha to Barbie Land to show them how better their world is, because the women are in power and not suppressed by men. Later to see Barbie Land is taken over by Kens, after Ken's discovery of patriarchy. And all Barbies are brainwashed to believe they love serving their men. At that point, the stereotypical Barbie believes she isn't pretty anymore, has nothing if she lost her beauty, and easily gives up. The director's note and the breakage of fourth wall at that moment increases relatability and seems so funny, because Margot Robbie still looks pretty while saying that. We later get a deep, intellectual, and complicated yet true monologue from Gloria. This scene resembles Jo March's monologue from another Greta Gerwig movie, Little Woman, and is so impactful.
Women, they have minds. And they have souls, as well as just hearts. And they've got ambition, and they've got talent, as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it. But I'm so lonely.
The monologue helps break the spell of brainwashing on Barbies, so they do this to all Barbies one by one, which indicates that the only way of dealing with patriarchy is to educate each other on the negative aspects of it and on our rights as women. The Barbies later become organized to take over the Barbie Land again, and they do. Later, Barbie apologizes to Ken for taking him for granted. She now knows the position he was put in, because she visited the real world and she saw the reverse dynamics. She takes him as his own person now, not as Barbie's boyfriend, and encourages him to explore himself. Not even though, but because it's a feminist movie. It's suggested that neither men nor women should dominate the world, but have equal responsibilities. Because feminism doesn't aim to put men in the same position women were in since the beginning of time. Feminism aims for equality and no discrimination as of gender. The only imperfection of the movie was how Gloria's character was dealt with. They could have dove deeper into her struggles, and she could have been the central focus after some point, because she is the human behind the Barbie. Even the end of the movie brings this idea when Barbie doesn't feel like a doll anymore and wants to become one of the people who invent the idea, not the idea itself. As the premise is that it's the humans who invent these ideas to deal with problems of the world, it would have been more interesting to focus on the woman behind this Barbie, Gloria. But I believe they wanted Barbie and Margot Robbie to be the focus, as she is one of the producers. She becoming a human in the end was referring to not being an idealized idea of a woman anymore, but rather becoming a real woman with flaws, trying to find her place and worth in the real world. And that idea itself was also really worthy to bring to an unrealistic idea of a woman. Lastly, I have to touch on this little, but really important scene. When Mattel is asked if Barbie Land is an alternate reality or an imaginary world, they instantly reply it's an imaginary world. This suggests that even though they try to sell us the idea of women empowerment, their real purpose is to satisfy women by giving them power in an imaginary world, while they adjust to the male-dominant real world. There is no real change made by the production of this empowered woman doll. It's only symbolic and feels like an effort to silence women who want actual change in power dynamics. Even though it's an innovation to that time's women's standards, she's created to be beautiful and doesn't feel like it's a creation made solely by and for women. It's not enough until real change is made. Yet, lately seeing a lot of people wearing pink outside, talking highly of the ideas presented in the movie, and finding it relatable. Men going to the movie and not assessing it for women only. It kind of revived the feminist spirit, and it was not something to be expected from a Barbie movie. Hope to see more men seeing the movie and broadening their perspective to understand feminism doesn't mean bashing all men, but equality and justice for women and humanity. Thank you all for watching. We recommend everyone to go watch the movie while it's still in theaters. Please leave your opinions in the comments section. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next videos. Bye!